That one's going to be low again, and that's going to be a walk. So a leadoff base runner for the Eagles, and that brings up the senior second baseman, number 7, Chandler Bean. Last time up, Bean flew out. Runner on first, no outs here. Brown has struggled to command the zone tonight as he's walked quite a few batters. That one's going to be in for a strike. And start the count off 0-1. I believe the ump just told Romo to get back closer to the dugout as he's warming up. Interesting. Oh, and after the pickoff attempt, the ball gets all the way over to the backstop. And Bratcher is going to move all the way to third base. And that's going to be a runner now in scoring position for the Eagles with no outs. I believe that one got out of play. I believe we just got sound, so if you're just now hearing us, scores 1-0 here in the bottom of the fourth. Caleb Bratcher is on third base with Chandler Bean up to bat. First pitch is going to be outside for a ball. Brady Brown is the pitcher for the Knights. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm Jackson Champion, joined by my co-host Avery Hodge. And this is the first round of the playoffs between the Eagles and the Knights here at FBCA TV. Chandler Bean's count is 2-1 with a runner on third and no outs. Brown feeling the pressure, but here's the pitch, and that one's going to be roped into left field, and that one's going to get over the head of the left field, and that's easily going to score Bratcher from third. And that's going to be an easy stand-up double for the senior second baseman, Chandler Bean. And the Eagles bring across another run to bring the score 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth.
The Fort Bend Eagles here starting to pick up on Brady Brown here, starting to pick away at his pitches.
Now the Austin Regents head coach is going to come out and talk to Brown. The Knights have nobody warming up in the pen at the moment, as I'm sure they'll go to whatever pitcher is best available. This is do or die. The playoffs are win or go home. Brown needing to settle in here for the Knights as senior third baseman Marcos Romo stands in. He flew out his first time up in the second.
Marcos Romo hitting .225 on the season.
His average has steadily been improving over the past couple weeks. The first pitch drops in for a nice strike from Brown off the curveball. Eagles have 5 hits so far through 4 versus the Knights just 4 hits through 4. Here's the 0-1. That one's going to be swung on and fouled over to the right side and quickly move the count to 0-2. Brown looking to make quick work here of Romo. After a look back from second, he throws back to second. And that one's going to be safe in for Bean. Brown is now up to 50 pitches, 29 strikes, 21 balls so far. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be singled over to hit over to the left side, and that's going to be the first out of the inning. Bean stays at second due to where the ball was hit, and that's going to be 1 out gone, and that'll bring up senior Grant Poss into hit now for Derek Jordan. So Jordan struck out his first time up on 3 straight pitches, and now they'll turn to the senior in a big moment. Grant Poss, he played on senior night. He got his first hit of the season. Poss transferred in from George Wrench High School out in Richmond, Texas. That one's going to be low for a ball to Poss. Start the count 1-0. But Poss transferred in from George Ranch. He, a big-time football player, plays on the line. That one's going to be swung on over to the right side, and that's going to be an RBI single for Grant Poss. But Chandler Bean stayed at second. And off of this throwing error. Oh, boy. And off the base running, that's going to be a double play. Because of the single, the Eagles thought they could stretch home and Poss to third. And that's going to retire the side. But Poss did get a stand-up single as Jones held up Bean coming around from second, as he probably would have made it. But that's going to end the inning. 2-0 is still your score, though. Eagles lead. You're watching Eagles on the Air on FBCA TV. We're back here in the top of the 5th. Your Eagles lead the Austin Regents Knights 2-0. As Cole Godwin now stands in. He singled his last time up. As Clay Krish, number 15, is still on the mound for your Eagles. That first pitch is going to drop in for strike 1. Krish, 2 strikeouts and a walk so far in his line. 4 hits allowed. That one's going to be in on the hands of Godwin and fouled back and quickly move the count 0-2. So, Avery, what have you liked so far that you've seen from Krish on the mound?
I think he kind of struggled a little bit at first, but he's kind of getting his groove now. He's being efficient, and he's just getting the job done.
Nope. Krish, 2-0. 1-2 now is the count, but Krish has given the lead, has held the lead to 0 runs for 2-2 is now the count for the Eagles.
Sound like you're talking to nobody.
Here's the pitch from Krish. That one's going to be hit on over to the right side, and that's going to be another single for Godwin. So Godwin has 40% of the Regents' hits so far tonight, as that's hit number 5 in the top of the 5th. And that'll turn that over the order to number 16, Jack Bjerkel, the third baseman. The pinch runner will come in to run for Godwin. That's number 15, Mix Miller. Just to let everyone know at home, on Tuesday we have second round softball. FBCA is yet to know their opponent. And that'll be our last broadcast of the year and also the last softball game at home. So make sure to come out and support your Lady Eagles. But if you cannot, tune back in FBCA TV. And we'll be back on the call as my co-host Avery Hodge will be out on the field playing. Krish picks over to first as Miller is going to get back in safely. The count is still 1-0 here in the top of the fifth. No outs. Krish is nearing the halfway century mark. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be hit up the middle. As Elizondo is going to step on second and throw over to first, and that's going to be a nice double play for the Eagles. And that's going to be quickly 2 outs down for the Knights. And that's going to bring up number 3, Jackson Smith. He sacrificed bunt his first time up, and he flew out his last time. Knights looking to cut into this lead here in the top of the fifth with 2 outs gone. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be hit on over to the shortstop, Elizondo. And he'll field that one cleanly, and that's going to be the inning. Top of the fifth goes by fast. 2-0 is your score. Eagles lead the Knights. You're watching Eagles on the Air on FBCA TV.
Leadoff batter Benji Elizondo back up to hit for the Eagles. He flew out his last at bat.
Here's the pitch from Brown. That one's going to be low for a ball, and that's going to be 2 straight balls to start off the count to Elizondo. Pitch is going to be in for the first strike of the count, move the count 2-1. We're in the bottom of the fifth here. Your Eagles lead the Austin Regents Knights 2-0. rain is expected in the area sometime soon. As that one's going to be in for a strike two. But as we have gone 4 innings, if rain and lightning come, the game will be called immediately. And whoever is leading at the time will be declared the victor. That one's going to be swung on and missed. That's going to be a drop, strike 3. No, they're going to say he caught it, and Elizondo is going to be out. And that's going to bring up the power bat of Brady Dever. Dever is 1 for 1 tonight as he walked in the first and got a single into right field. He's hitting 186 on the year with 2 home runs and a 352 on base. First pitch is outside to start the count out 1-0. Offering from Brown is low and inside and moves the count 2-0. Brown around 62 pitches tonight as that one's fouled off. And that'll be the first strike of the count. On Tuesday, the Eagles had a tune-up game against Logos Prep. And Dever had a walk-off home run to win that one. The power is certainly there for Dever. As the count is 3-1, this is the perfect situation. Maybe put another one over the fence. But that one's going to be low. And that's going to be a one-out walk. And that's going to bring up the senior catcher, number 9, Blaine Baird. Baird, a .394 hitter on the year. 21 RBIs and an impressive .464 on base. Dever makes a move, and it's going to be a hit and run on as he's going to make it in safely to second. But the shortstop's going to make the force at first. So the hit and run saves the double play. As the Eagles are still alive with 2 outs and a runner on second. And that brings up the senior first baseman, Zane Council. Council flew out his first time up and had an RBI single in the third to bring across the Eagles' first run. That first pitch is in for a ball. Start off the count. One zero pitch is high and inside, and that's going to bring the count 2-0 now to Council. Brown gets his pitch, and here's the 2-0 offering. That one's going to be swung on and fouled to the left side. That's going to move the count 2-1. This next pitch thrown by Brown will be his 70th pitch of the night. That one's going to be high. That's going to move the count 3-1. 39 strikes and 31 balls on the night for Brown. He has struggled to command the zone so far tonight for the Knights. That's led to a lot of hits and a lot of walks so far. That one's going to be fouled off and move the count 3-2. But despite the 6 hits and a few walks, Eagles have only managed to score 2 runs. So the damage has certainly been limited, and the Knights are still in striking distance. Full count here to Council with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be looped over to third baseman. The third baseman, he's going to make the catch for the third out. Your score is 2-0 as we move to the top of the sixth. Your Eagles lead. This is Eagles on the Air on FBCA TV. We're back here in the top of the sixth. Your Eagles lead 2-0 of the Austin Regents Knights. Krish so far has been quite efficient, only allowing 5 hits and 1 walk so far and no runs to pass. He's only thrown 50 pitches through 5. And now up is number 8, the center fielder, Brendan Work. Krish's first pitch is going to be a curveball that's going to drop in below the zone and start the count out 1-0. Krish's 1-0 offering is going to be in for a strike and move the count 1-1. Last time Work was up, he grounded out, and his first time up he walked, so he's 0 for 1 on the day. That one's going to be in, but it's going to be a called ball. It's going to move the count 2-1. We're just looking to get something started here for the Knights as they're starting to run out of time. That one's going to be grounded over to Council, and he's going to field it cleanly and step on the bag for the first out. Now stands in number 10, the shortstop, Brady Robert. He grounded out his first time up, and he singled in his last plate appearance. Robert is a left-hander. So a favorable matchup from the right-handed Krish. That first pitch is way outside. That's going to start out the count 1-0. The 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. And that's going to bring the count 1-1 and even. The Regents Knights are down to their last 5 outs here. So they need to get something going soon if they want a chance to win this one. Swung on and missed again. And that's going to move the count 1-2 to Robert. Krish has been working efficiently so far today. Looking to keep that up. And that one's going to be swung on and missed. And that's going to be strike 3. And the third strikeout of the game for Krish. Two outs now gone here in the top of the 6th, and that brings up Mark Westermoreland. He's playing out in left field tonight for the Knights. That first pitch is in for a ball. Second pitch is in on the hands of Moreland. It's going to be flared over to Christian. He's going to toss it over to first baseman, and that's going to be it. 1-2-3 inning there for the Knights. As we move to the bottom of the sixth, your score is 2-0. The Eagles lead. You're watching Eagles on the Air on FBCA TV. We're back here in the bottom of the sixth. Your Eagles lead the Austin Regents Knights 2-0 as the pitcher number 15, Clay Krish, stands in to hit. Brady Brown is still on the mound for the Knights. He's gone 72 pitches so far through 5 as his night continues into the sixth. And here's his first pitch of the sixth, and that one's going to be it's going to be hit over to the left field, and that's going to get down for extra bases for Krish. Instead of going 2, he holds up at first wisely, and that's going to be a leadoff single for the Eagles. And that's going to bring up the junior hitter, Caleb Bratcher, as we now have a pinch runner coming in to run for Krish, as number 10, Will Leakey, will run. Caleb Bratcher last time up walked, and he singled in his first time up, as we see the nice replay here on that last hit. Caleb Bratcher now stands in, number 16, the right fielder, the junior, and he shows bunt but quickly pulls back as the catcher throws on down to first to check on Leakey. Bratcher also came in as a transfer from George Ranch High School, similar to Grant Poss. And Bratcher has even pitched for the Eagles a little bit this season. Depending on how the playoffs go, we may see Bratcher in to come to pitch a little bit. Here's the 1-0 offering. It's going to be outside. That's going to move the count 2-0. Two O's the count, and that one's going to be fouled over to the right side. It's going to move the count 2-1. Eagles are sitting comfortably so far with the 2-0 lead, but anything can happen here. But if the Eagles can hold Regents to not score in the top of the 7th, this could be the Eagles' last time up to bat, as that one's going to be low and in the dirt, and bring the count 3-1. Pitch is high, and that's going to be a walk. So Bratcher's now walked in his last 2 plate appearances. And that'll bring up the second baseman, number 7, Chandler Bean. He doubled his last time up for an RBI to score their last runner. As Coach Jones is giving a talk to Bean on some strategy. As the Eagles have no outs so far, and in stands a big opportunity for the Eagles to add some insurance. Being a .267 hitter on the year. He squares up to bunt and lays a beautiful bunt down where the only play is able to be made at first. So 1 out is now gone, but the runners move up to second and third, and that brings up the senior third baseman, Marcos Romo. Marcos Romo has flown out and grounded out so far here. Hitting .231 on the year with a .293 on base. The senior playing likely his last home game. That one's going to be dribbled over to the left side and corralled by the third baseman as no runners will advance, and that's going to be the second out of the inning. Off the force at first. And now stands in the designated hitter, number 44, senior Grant Poss. Last time up, he singled, but then was caught stealing. He moved up to second successfully, then moved over to third, but was caught out off some poor base running by the Eagles. And a double play. But Poss is 1 for 1 tonight with a chance to drive in 2 more runs for the Eagles. Brown checks in on the run at third, and here's the pitch. And that one's going to be hit up the middle. The second baseman's going to corral it and make the play at first, and that's going to be the inning. 2-0 is still your score. Your Eagles lead the Knights. So you move to the top of the 7th. You're watching Eagles on the Air on FBCA TV. We're back here at the top of the 7th as your Eagles lead 2-0. And they're looking to put away this first round game over the Austin Regents Knights. Regents have yet to score so far with only 5 hits coming across. Clay Krish is still on the mound as he's pitched a great game, walking 1, striking out 3. And allowing just 5 hits and no runs. So now standing in to bat is number 4, the catcher, Mitch Abernethy. That first pitch is away. It's going to be a called ball. We were predicting to have some rain here tonight, but so far the clouds have been clear. The weather's been nice. There's been a little bit of a breeze. A perfect night for baseball. Eagles playing their last home game of the year. As if they win this game, they'll move on to Austin to play in the second round next week. Count is now 1-1. As Krish settles on a sign. And he delivers. And that one's going to be low. And move the count 2-1. Krish only at 63 pitches. Has been looking strong so far. 2-1 pitch is swung on and missed. And that'll bring the count 2-2. Krish looking to pick up his 4th strikeout of the night. He settles on a pitch. And he offers. Swung on and missed by Abernathy. That's going to be his 4th strikeout of the night. Great pitching there from Krish. And that'll be the first out retired of the 7th. And the Knights are now down to their last 2. As the DH, Reed Turner, now stands in. He grounded out his last time up in the 4th. That one's going to be swung on and missed for the first strike. Krish working fast and efficient. Here's the 0-1 offering. That one's going to be low and in for a ball. That moves the count 1-1. Eagles scored both their runs in the 3rd and 4th innings. They were driven in by Chandler Bean and Zane Council. That is swung on and missed and fouled off to the left side, and that's going to bring the count 1-2. Turner represents the second out to last out for the Knights, as this could be their season here. Krish with the 1-2. That one's going to be lined over to Elizondo at short, and he's going to make the catch for the second out. And now the Knights are down to their last out, and their last out is represented by second baseman number 9, Will Thomas. Big moment here for the Eagles, as the outfield is shifting over. First pitch is low. It's going to be a called ball. That one's going to be lined into center field, but Devers going to make the catch, and that's going to be the game. 2-0 is your final score. The Eagles have 7 hits versus the Regents 5 hits. And the Eagles are moving on to round 2 off of the stellar performance from junior pitcher Clay Krish. And that'll be the season for the Austin Regents Knights as they fall to the Eagles out in Sugar Land. And now Fort Bend is going to move on to, I believe, to play Brentwood Christian up in Austin for the second round. And this will be our last baseball broadcast of the year, as we have one more broadcast scheduled for next Tuesday, the Eagles softball playoff game, second round. And that'll be our last broadcast of the year. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jackson Champion. I was joined by my co-host Avery Hodge. And we will see you next Tuesday for Eagles softball. This is Eagles on the Air on FBCA TV. Signing off.